Cardi B, explosive, admits she prefers Offset over Diggs after heartbreaking Super Bowl split. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Did Cardi B just break the internet harder than Kim Kardashian's champagne glass? Because what she just dropped on social media has everyone's jaw on the floor, and honey, we are here for the chaos. The Bronx bombshell just admitted, in the most Cardi way possible, that when it comes to her heart, Offset still holds the crown over her Super Bowl fling with NFL star Stefon Diggs. And the timing? Chef's kiss level of dramatic. Because this revelation comes hot off the heels of what might be the messiest celebrity split we have seen this year. Before we dive into this absolute dumpster fire of drama, do me a solid. If you are loving the tea we are spilling, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon, because Celebrity Watchdog never misses a beat when it comes to your favorite stars losing their minds in public. Trust me, you will want notifications for what is coming next. Now, let me paint you the picture. Super Bowl weekend just wrapped up, right? Patriots versus Seahawks, Maye throwing touchdowns, Sam Darnold doing his thing. And somewhere in a luxury suite sits Cardi B, dripping in diamonds, looking like a whole meal, cheering on her rumored boo Stefon Diggs. The cameras caught them together multiple times throughout the season. The chemistry was undeniable, and everyone thought Offset was finally old news. The narrative was perfect. Cardi moved on, upgraded to an NFL star, and was living her best life. Except, plot twist, that is not how this story ends at all. The tea started spilling when Cardi went live on Instagram 3 days after the Super Bowl. And listen, when Cardi goes live, you know something is about to go down. She was in her feelings, looking gorgeous as always, but you could see it in her eyes. That woman had something to get off her chest, and she was not about to hold back. Someone in the comments asked her point blank, "Are you getting back with Offset?" And instead of dodging the question like a normal person trying to maintain privacy, Cardi being Cardi said, and I quote, "Look, I am going to keep it 100 with y'all. Stefon is amazing. He treats me like a queen. He's fine, he's got money, he's successful. But Offset? That's the father of my kids. That's my heart. That man knows me in ways nobody else ever will." Excuse me? The collective gasp heard around the world was seismic. Here is a woman who literally spent the last few months posting cryptic quotes about new beginnings, about knowing your worth, about not settling for less than you deserve. She was out here looking happy, glowing, attending games, posting pictures with Diggs' jersey on, and now she's telling us that Offset, the same man who has publicly embarrassed her more times than we can count, still has her heart? Make it make sense, Cardi. Make it make sense. But here's where it gets even juicier. Sources close to the situation, and by sources I mean people who are actually at the Super Bowl parties, told us that things between Cardi and Stefon were already rocky before the big game. Apparently, Stefon wanted to go public in a major way, like red carpet official, post each other on main Instagram official. But Cardi kept hesitating. She would post him in her stories, sure, but never on the grid. And if you know anything about celebrity relationships, that is the ultimate tell. The grid is sacred. The grid is where real relationships live. Stories? Stories are for situations that might disappear in 24 hours, literally and figuratively. Friends of Stefon were apparently frustrated, because here is this incredible athlete, a man who could have practically anyone, and he's out here trying to lock down someone who is still clearly not over her ex. One insider said Stefon was all in, planning a future, talking about blending families, the whole 9 yards. Meanwhile, Cardi was still texting Offset at 2 in the morning. Can you imagine? You are Stefon Diggs, you just played in the Super Bowl, and your girl is in your phone texting her ex-husband about what? The good old days? The disrespect is astronomical. The actual breakup apparently happened the night after the Super Bowl. They were at an after-party, everyone was celebrating, champagne was flowing, and according to witnesses, Stefon pulled Cardi aside for a serious conversation. He basically gave her an ultimatum, choose me or choose him, but you cannot have both. And Cardi, in true Cardi fashion, did not choose at all. She left the party early, hopped on a private jet, and flew back to Atlanta. Not New York, where her family is, not Los Angeles, where she has a house. Atlanta, where Offset lives. Connect the dots, people. Now, let us talk about Offset's role in all this, because you know that man has been working overtime behind the scenes. While Cardi was out here trying to convince herself and the world that she had moved on, Offset was playing the long game. He wasn't out here dating other women publicly. He wasn't doing interviews talking about their relationship. He was being strategic, posting throwback pictures of them together with their kids, commenting heart emojis on her posts, showing up at events he knew she would be at. The man wrote the handbook on how to stay in your ex's mind without looking desperate, and it worked like a charm. Sources say Offset never stopped believing they would get back together. While everyone else was watching Cardi and Stefon's relationship play out, Offset was quietly working on himself. Or at least that's what he was telling Cardi. He was in therapy, focusing on music, being more present with the kids. Whether that's actually true or just a good PR strategy, who knows, but it clearly resonated with Cardi.
Because let's be real, Cardi and Offset's relationship has always been messy, toxic, passionate, and undeniable. They're like that couple that breaks up 17 times, but somehow always ends up back together because nobody else gets them the way they get each other. But here's my question, and I know I'm not the only one thinking it. What about Stefon Diggs in all of this? This man is not some random dude off the street. He's an NFL superstar. He has options. He has a whole career. And he just got publicly dumped or ghosted, or whatever you want to call what Cardi did to him. The man gave her courtside seats, flew her out to games, introduced her to his family, and she just pieced out for her ex? The second-hand embarrassment is real. Stefon has been completely silent on social media since the breakup, which honestly might be the classiest move in this entire situation. He unfollowed Cardi, archived all their photos together, and kept it moving. No subliminal tweets, no sad boy Instagram captions, just silence. And you know what? Good for him, because Cardi made her choice, and that choice was not him, so why stick around for the drama? Meanwhile, Offset is over here acting like he just won the lottery. He posted a picture on Instagram 2 days ago with the caption, "Everything I want is already mine," with a crown emoji. Subtle, real subtle Offset. And Cardi liked the post within minutes. At this point, they are not even trying to hide it anymore. The streets are saying they've been back together for weeks, and this whole Super Bowl situation was just Cardi trying to make Offset jealous or prove a point or who knows what. Let me break down why this situation is so messy from every angle. First, you have Cardi, who is one of the most successful female rappers of our generation, a businesswoman, a mother, someone who preaches about self-worth and independence. Yet here she is, going back to a man who has very publicly hurt her multiple times. The hypocrisy is not lost on her fans, and Twitter has been ruthless. People are asking how she can tell other women to leave toxic situations, while she is out here speed-running back into hers. Then you have Offset, who somehow managed to finesse his way back into Cardi's life, without really proving he has changed. Sure, he says all the right things now, but actions speak louder than words, and we have seen this movie before. They get back together, things are great for a few months, then boom, another scandal, another breakup, another public argument. It's a cycle, and everyone can see it except apparently Cardi. And poor Stefon, who was probably genuinely falling for Cardi, got caught in the crossfire of whatever unresolved trauma and chemistry exists between Cardi and Offset. He was the rebound that almost became something real, except you cannot compete with history, especially when that history includes 3 kids and a marriage. What makes this even more interesting is the timing. Cardi has a new album dropping soon, Offset just released a single, and suddenly they are back in headlines together. Coincidence? Maybe. Strategic? Probably. These are 2 people who understand that controversy sells, that people cannot look away from their drama, and that staying relevant means staying in the conversation. Whether this reconciliation is real or just for publicity, only time will tell. But either way, they are winning because we are all talking about them.
Here's the thing though. Part of me, a tiny part, kind of gets it. Not the going back to your ex part necessarily, but the idea that some connections are just hard to break. Cardi and Offset have been through everything together. They built empires together. They created life together. They have inside jokes, shared memories, a whole history that nobody else can touch. Sometimes that is enough to override logic, to override what everyone else thinks you should do. Love, especially complicated love, is not always rational. But the other part of me wants to shake Cardi and ask her what she is doing, because settling for someone who has hurt you repeatedly, even if you love them, even if you have history, is not the flex she thinks it is. Women everywhere look up to her. They see her as this powerful, independent force who does not need a man to define her. And then she turns around and admits that she is choosing the same man who has let her down over someone who is actually treating her right. The mixed message is loud. The internet has been divided on this whole situation. Team Offset is celebrating, saying true love always finds a way back, that they are soulmates, that their chemistry is undeniable. Team Stefon is mourning, saying Cardi fumbled a good man for a proven cheater, that she is going to regret this decision. And then there's Team Cardi, who just wants her to be happy regardless of who she is with, even if that happiness seems questionable from the outside. What happens next is anyone's guess. Will Cardi and Offset actually make it work this time, or are we looking at another breakup in 6 months? Will Stefon find someone who appreciates him and does not use him as a placeholder? Will Cardi's fans forgive her for this very public display of going back on everything she has preached about relationships? Only time will tell, but you better believe Celebrity Watchdog will be here to cover every single moment of whatever chaos unfolds next. The moral of this story, if there even is one, is that celebrity relationships are complicated, messy, and often make zero sense to those of us watching from the outside. But they are also incredibly human. Cardi might be a superstar with millions of dollars and millions of fans, but at the end of the day, she is just a woman trying to figure out her heart, making mistakes, making choices, and living with the consequences. We can judge her, we can question her, but we cannot say she is not authentic. For better or worse, Cardi keeps it real, And in an industry full of fake everything, that is almost refreshing. Thanks for watching Celebrity Watchdog. Until next time, stay messy, stay informed, and keep watching.